Hello everyone, welcome back to Community Medicine Insight. In this session, we will understand about organ donation, what are the different types, who can become an organ donor. We will also understand the legal framework in India and what are the important provisions which are introduced through the 2011 amendment to the Act. World Organ Donation Day is observed on 13th of August, while in India, National Organ Donation Day is being observed on 3rd of August to mark the first successful heart transplant in India, which is performed on 3rd of August 1994. Although the dates are different, but the objectives remain same, that is to increase the awareness about organ donation, encourage people to pledge their organs, honor organ donors and their families, and to reduce the gap between organ demand and availability. Why is organ donation important? As organ failure is a major cause of morbidity and mortality worldwide, and organ transplantation is often the only definitive treatment for the end stage organ failure patients. The problem is the demand for organ is much greater than their availability, and this creates a huge waiting list of patients who may spend months or even years waiting for a suitable organ. And it is not only organs that can be donated, tissue donation can also significantly improve the quality of life. Organ donation broadly falls into two categories. One is the living organ or tissue donation. Second is the deceased donation. In living donors, kidney, part of liver, part of pancreas can be donated, and under tissue category, bone marrow or hematopoietic stem cells can be donated. If we talk about minimum and maximum age, the minimum age is 18 years when the person is legally competent to give an informed consent, while there is no fixed upper age limit, and the suitability will depend on the overall health and the organ function of the person. Disease donation is done after the brainstem death or the circulatory death. The organs that can be donated include heart, kidneys, liver, lungs, pancreas, and small intestine, while tissues include cornea, skin, bone, heart walls, tendon, ligaments, and blood vessels. So, one deceased donor can save up to 8 lives. If we talk about age limits in deceased organ donation, there is no minimum and maximum age limit. Even newborns, children, adults, and elderly individuals may donate if the organs or tissues are medically suitable. Final eligibility is determined after the medical evaluation and not by age alone. Brainstem death means irreversible cessation of brainstem functions, and it is the legally recognized death in India. To ensure complete transparency and zero misuse, the brainstem death in India, it must be certified twice within 6 hours by a board of medical experts. And these board consist of hospital in charge or the medical administrator, the treating doctor, an independent medical specialist, and a neurologist or a neurosurgeon. So this brainstem death is different from coma and vegetative state, and it is confirmed through prescribed medical tests. Cold ischemia time refers to the time for which an organ is kept cold without blood supply after the retrieval from the donor until it is transplanted or reperfused in the recipient. Cooling time slows down the cellular metabolism and helps to preserve the organ, but cooling cannot stop cellular injury completely. And different organs have different cold ischemia time. Table shows that heart and lungs have much shorter acceptable preservation window than other organs. So this cold ischemia time explains why organ retrieval and transportation process have to be extremely well coordinated. Actual preservation time varies with the organ preservation method and the clinical circumstances. Since time is critical, therefore the traffic police healthcare system, they coordinate through green corridor. So green corridor is a priority traffic cleared route which is facilitated by the traffic authorities. It is for the rapid transport of donated organs, and this helps to minimize the transport time, cold ischemia, thus support the organ viability. There are certain situations where organs or tissue donation may not be possible, and these includes conditions like active and controlled systemic infection, certain metastatic cancer, severe organ damage making the organ unsuitable for the transplantation. So important point to remember here is that medical team evaluate each organ individually, and even though the some organ may be damaged, the other might be healthy and enough for the transplantation. Now let us understand the legal framework which is governing organ donation and transplantation in India. The main purpose of this act is to provide a legal framework for the removal, storage, transplantation of human organs and tissue. Implement and coordinate organ transplantation activities at national level. We have NOTTO. The full form is National Organ and Tissue Transplant Organization. It is the apex body, and its major functions include policy formation, maintaining national level coordination, and facilitating organ allocation and transplantation across the country. Then below national level, we have ROTTO, that is Regional Organ and Tissue Transplant Organization. These organizations help in regional planning and coordination and support the waiting list organ allocation process within their respective regions. Further down at state level, we have SOTO, which stands for State Organ and Tissue Transplant Organization. They are responsible for coordinating organ donation and transplantation within the state. They help to manage the state level registries, and they coordinate between hospital and transplant centers and facilitate the appropriate allocation of organs. In this slide, we will compare the original framework with the important changes which are introduced through the 2011 amendments. The original legislation was mainly focused on the organ transplantation, while the amended also include tissues. The amendment strengthened the provision for tissue donation, transplantation, and tissue banks, which was an important step because transplantation now is not only limited to solid organs. The amendment introduced the concept of non-transplant organ retrieval centers. So this allows organs to be retrieved at the designated center, even when the transplantation itself is not performed at that hospital. So this helped to expand the disease donation network. Another important change was the strengthening the role of transplant coordinator. This coordinator plays a crucial role by identifying the donors, coordinating with the families, and facilitating the process and helping with the documentation and communication. Swab donation is introduced, and this is particularly useful when the two donor recipient pairs are individually incomparable but can exchange donors in a legally permitted and approved manner. The definition of near relatives was expanded to include the grandparents and grandchildren, and the amendment also strengthened the penalties for violation and commercial dealings.